Hi, it's Charlie from Stan James. Welcome to a preview of this weekend's racing action. Wonderful fair we've got. 2 days of entry, Chepstow, Stratford, and of course wonderful flat racing from both Newbury and Doncaster. A bit sad though in many ways. I think this is, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that the entry meeting has been televised on Channel 4, and of course with obligations with the flat and at Doncaster and Newbury, there's only one race, and that's the Old Roan Chase, that is live on Channel 4 this weekend, and it just shows that, I'm afraid to say, horse racing, the BBC don't really see eye to eye at present. Most of the pity, but the first time I actually think ever that racing will be broadcast on Channel 4 from Aintree. But let's kick off at Doncaster. The first race, very competitive, 5 furlong sprint. If there was 6 furlongs, I think Harry Patch really would be something to bet on here. But I'm going for Harry Patch. He's a very lightly raced horse, only I think 4 times has he raced. Soft ground is the key. There is a lot of rain forecast on Friday, late Friday night comes Saturday morning, and the ground currently, I think David Williams was on at the races today, Thursday, suggesting it's good to soft at present and likely to get softer, so do bear that in mind. I would just put Harry Patch in for that. Also Hoofy, to pass on a good word for that. In stall 7, judge and jury should take those drawn low. I always under the impression at Doncaster, and again we probably may not be, or were maybe until the first stage racing tomorrow Friday, the effects of the draw, but I was always under the impression that fast ground may be high on the straight course at Doncaster and on soft ground low. And our selection, Harry Patch, is drawn 3. Neil Callan takes the ride, lightly raced, and I think Michael Jarvis. This team aren't in great form, but hopefully in form enough. The big race of the big flat race, and their final flat race, Group 1 race of the 2010 British season, is the Racing Post Trophy. Last year, of course, this time last year, how good was St Nicholas Abbey? It really was. And of course the last 2 winners of the Group 2 Beresford Stakes in Ireland have been See the Stars and St Nicholas Abbey. See the Stars, of course, who went on to carry all before him as a 3-year-old, starting of course in the StanJames.com 2000 Guineas, finishing in the Grand Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. An absolutely sensational horse, and St Nicholas Abbey, who created such an extraordinary impression this time last year, and of course was only run once. That again was in our Stan James sponsored Guineas, and he finished I think 5th, maybe 6th in now, and of course we haven't seen him since. But Casamento won the race, I thought, impressively. I've been staggered. We put him in a 7-4 early in the week, out to 3-1, back into 5-2. Now the 11-4 favourite with ourselves. Frankie Dettori takes over. Why does Frankie? It's in the ownership of Sheikh Mohammed. That means it's more likely to leave Michael Holford, who trains it now in Ireland, and to be in the Boys of Blue next year at Godolphin. Frankie's only ever won the Racing Post Trophy once. That was with Authorised, of course, was trained by Peter Chappell-Hyam. I think Casamento will win. Johnny Mercer's just been booked for Master of Hounds. That's the market mover, 11-2 from 7s with ourselves. Du Bois Express, I think, is a massive, very, very strong Irish challenge, of course, in this race. Du Bois Express as well, unbeaten in 2 starts. But it would be Casamento for me. Can I just also pass on a good word for Junket? It is in the Apprentice Hands and Heels finale, and I don't really know a great deal about Ryan Powell, and it is possible a Safwan will be a big danger, but I was quite taken with Junket last time, 6 furlongs, and I think she gave the impression rather the step up to 7 furlongs will suit. Hands and Heels, remember, they don't know whips. The jockeys can carry whips, but only for corrective measures. If the horse begins to hang, they cannot use the whip as an incentive. On to Aintree, and really in this time next week we'll have the Charlie Hall, but as a Merseyside person, I nearly said Liverpudlian, but of course after Sunday you can't use the word Liverpudlian until about 10:30 at night. As an Evertonian, I was delighted with that. But Aintree 210 Milsheaf makes his reappearance. Of course, this one was brought down on debut of the day. The Alan King Yard thought a lot of this. Do look out for that in the opener. This is on Saturday. Big race is the Old Roan Chase. This is the one that's live on Channel 4. Alberta's run 2 Grade 1s. Remember, this is now Thursday. We haven't got the declarations, only 24-hour, of course, over jumps. Monet's Garden won 2 of the last 3 renewals of this race, and what a jumper of a fence this is. Pocalan, of course, this time last year was sort of starting out, I think, 130 rated horse, and of course he's gone on to be rated 160 with his Paddy Power success, and I think second in the Ryanair behind Alberta's run. But the one I'm quite keen on is Tartak. I've just heard the Master Medic is a non-runner in that. Tim Walford hasn't got the horse ready in time, but Tartak, the last race he won was the 2.5 miler at the Aintree Festival, the Grand National meeting 18 months ago. He ran a cracking race in the Melling Chase last time, and I think Tartak is £15 better off for 5 lengths with Alberta's run, and he ought to win that. The Veterans Chase, the 4:35, great race that. Royal Rosa, this is character building, always flattered to deceive. The 5:10, we've got Medamit around about 10 to 1, 12 to 1 favourite with ourselves for the Arkle. He is due to make his chase debut again for Alan King. It's a big weekend for Alan King. On to Sunday at Aintree and Franklino, the anti-post joint favourite. There's a couple of Nicky Henderson horses again, ex-French prospects. They're coming over. Franklino, the first buzzer of the jump season was Franklino. A couple of people rang me to get a mark on, to get a price on this. He was around about 25 to 1. I think he's still 20 to 1 for the Triumph Hurdle, and I know Alan King thinks a lot of this. And of course, when he's had the Catchits, the Mill Chiefs, etc., he's had some very good juvenile hurdlers to go through his ranks. The one horse I would, from a betting point of view this weekend, is a horse of Jeremy Scott's called Cool Friend. She's been in about 5 or 6 races this week, and she's still interested entered up in one at Stratford on Saturday and a couple at Aintree. The one race I would like her to run is the 2:45 on Sunday, the 2.5 mile novice chase. I think Cool Friend, she kept bumping into a really hot pot mare of Nicky Henderson last year, and I think Cool Friend, maybe first time out of time to catch her, I think she's a lovely horse, and she's only rated 123, so maybe handicapping, but Cool Friend maybe the nap of the weekend. Captain Chris versus Leadar as well in the 4:30, and Q Card is due to make his debut over hurdles. Remember, Q Card's so impressive when winning the Champion Festival bumper at Cheltenham, and Q Card around about 8 to 10 to 1 with ourselves at St James for the Supreme Novices at present. It promises to be one of the great dual jumping and flat weekends of the racing calendar. Something for everybody. I've left out Newbury. There's a real 3 group races there. But Casamento, can he give Frankie a second Racing Post Trophy success? For the boys in blue, maybe? For next year? At this moment in time, Casamento will be in Sheikh Mohammed's colours. Be lucky.